Very, very good with
Wait, something is wrong.
Core Ogre, Core Skywrath.
Core Skywrath. It looks
Something's happening here. This is
we
crazy.
Skywrath for sure.
We Skywrath.
Man, I can't believe what we are seeing here in the first game, Wings versus DC. We have a Core Skywrath, we have Pudge.
I can't believe it. But I can also believe it at the same time, gentlemen. This is going to be a hype grand final, I can already tell. It's game number 1. Let's throw it over. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your grand final casters. It's Toby1 and Merlini.
Greetings, everybody. This is the greatest game in the Dota 2 year, the International Grand Final. I'm Toby1 here with Merlini. Not only have we got 2 amazing teams, we've also got one kick-ass draft to kick us off.
Yeah, they're not afraid to go outside the box. Pudge, Core Skywrath, we haven't seen any of this throughout the main.
That's right. This is the place where we ask the questions. How does it all unfold? The Weeha on the Skywrath, the Moo moving to the Timbersaw. It is going to be classics in some ways, but also the curveballs in the other. You saw that grin on Misery. He seems to be very, very confident coming into this tournament.
I know they have to be riding that high after taking down EG, and I haven't seen a Core Sky in ages. I've seen him play it on stream a couple times, though. He really likes that hero. I think it's one of his favorite heroes.
Is this when you actually go to what something like EG, like PPD said about the old TI5 final? You pick up heroes which are just the comfort zones, where you know you're going to have a really good game because it's just your style of hero. I guess we believes this is it. He had other options. He had a lot of options.
I also think you need to take Wings out of their comfort zone. They always seem to be able to know exactly what you're going to do, what lanes you're going to throw at them.
Weeha won't stop it. He is clucking like a hen at the moment as that Skywrath mage. The battle will begin in 15 seconds when the runes will spawn. Digital Chaos, they're grouping up heavily to contest this top rune, but so are Wings.
It looks like they're actually going to try and aggro over here.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Here they come. They're coming down into the river. Who's going to get that first rune? It does go. Both go the way of Wings. Weeha taking a lot of damage early on, but the Illuminate, it hits on 4. Blink is so low. DC's almost got first blood. Resolution. Time looking into the first blood, but it's Weeha on the Skywrath throwing the orbs from range. That will bring down Blink.
Man, this early Observer Ward set up by a DC too. They had vision of all those heroes, and Wings, they did not see that Illuminate coming. The Wisp came in, got chucked by that Illuminate. Early first blood goes the way of Wee.
And again, we see DC turn to this Misery Ogre mid lane zoner, trying to keep the Storm Spirit out, while Weeha taunts the Storm Spirit back to his tier 1 tower. But the top lane's going to be a bit of a rough run here for Resolution, as iceice, he has leveled up Rot level 1, he'll have Innocence to back him up, but they're trying to create a little bit of space here for Shadow. Resolution is not alone. Saksa is up here to help him as that Keeper of the Light.
Early salve already coming out on the Skywrath Mage, but he's doing very well in terms of CS, limiting the Storm to 0-0 with the aid of Misery.
And Misery is just making life an absolute living hell. A Storm Spirit with no progression. That's got to be a dangerous thing. How can Wings change this up? How do you change the balance of these lanes? You do have one of the best rotating surprises of the game, and that's in the Pudge of Wings. But you can't need level 2 on him until he's got a hook.
It's also the Wisp. The Wisp comes in when you overcommit to a lane. But they have really good vision inside.
Well, now that Io's arrived in mid, Misery has rotated to the top lane. iceice is still not level 2 yet, but okay, with the Observer Ward behind the tower from Saksa, he's able to see iceice moving around. So now the Pudge rotations. The second he leaves that top lane, DC's going to know about it.
And that Sentry Ward is a little bit out of range. Wings have a lot of trouble in this early game. They want to get stacks up with a Wisp, especially when you have a Storm Spirit. They need some levels on the Pudge so he can actually hook this Keeper of the Light.
Well, that's why Misery's moved over. Shadow going to cut through the tree line. iceice needs to get in range to make that Rot work, but that's also an Ogre, an insanely tanky style hero. Not even the core is able to zone this out in this one position. Silencer not really having any love, even with that pull. Same time, DC do the same and keep the equilibrium their way.
Even if the early game's going poorly for Wings, they can still make it up in the team fight. It's going to be a long time until they can build Greaves, Lotuses, BKBs, the counters to Global Silence. So come 15-20 minutes, I think Wings can start flexing their lineup.
Bottom lane Faith dropping very, very low. We haven't even really had a close talk about this bottom lane. The Slaughter versus the Timber. Right now, things seem to be pretty even on the CS board, but how's this lane meant to progress?
We actually see Timbersaw not going for a Quelling Blade here. This is why Slaughter is able to actually overcome him in CS. It's very low on regen on the Slardar, but you expect it to go slightly Timbersaw favored.
Well, if Moo can have that, he's going to have a really great transition to that mid game. Maybe be online by the time Wings are ready to fight.
One of the best runes for a Skywrath Mage, the regeneration. That's definitely gonna win the lane for him.
Yeah, that's just going to spam out the Storm Spirit, and he needs a second option. At least Storm, I don't know if he really wants to start farming up inside of his own jungle. There's actually a couple of stacks prepared, so maybe that's his catch-up, use the Remnants.
Yeah, they also need to get levels on the Wisp. Wisp might need to help him out with like a bottle refill to deal with this constant spam from Skywrath Mage.
Well, the lanes have settled down after that first blood in the river. We've had 3.5 minutes of peace. But on bottom lane, the first big rotation, it's actually going to be, well, I say big, it's Innocence coming down to help. To gank up Moo, he's got 1 point up in Timber Chain, so he's got a way to get away from this, but then the movement speed, Crush off cooldown in 2 seconds time. No support coming in from DC. The Crush will connect, but Moo, 10 reactive armor charges. He's so tanky, the body block, it's not enough. Where's your bash there? Almost! The chain away! They're under the tower! There's no mana on Moo, but Faith, he might be in a little bit too deep here. He needs a way out. Crush is available. Where's that tether? It's off cooldown, but the Crush is going to miss. In comes your tether. Moo's looking for an opening. Remember, he's got no mana, no mango, and that means he can't find the kill. Faith dives deep, but does not kill the Moo.
I really like how Moo baited out that Crush there, just ran right outside of the range of Wings trying to make something happen in the other lane, and no TPs even from the supports, so they're comfortable in Moo being sacrificed down there.
I'm wondering if he asked for anything, and DC's just like, I'm sorry, man. We got to hold this top tower. You survived that gank, and DC gets so much more. The top 3 CS is on the board. The lanes are looking fantastic for DC to start with. They have a small advantage, as now they might find a bigger one. iceice caught out. Rot denial, not possible. Misery gets the last club and in.
One bright side for Wings there is that they did drop 2 Sentry Wards on the top lane at the same time. A little bit of miscommunication from them, and they won't be able to get that D-Ward on that Ops.
So Wings, is this repair zone now for them, or are they still comfortable with progression in the first 5 minutes?
You don't want to lose the lanes this badly. Look at Sky CS compared to the Storms. 29 versus 11. They were neck and neck at one point.
This looks to be the reason why they're rotating up. So Faith Beyond as well as Innocence. Looking towards Weeha. Weeha has been very cocky in this mid lane, going over the river, and this is that kind of moment they were waiting for. Faith runs in, they'll get an easy crush. Innocence to help out with the Wisp Spirits. Blink the Storm Spirit! The Mystic Fire! Weeha! He burnt the Retina out of Blink! And now it's a 1-1 trade-off, but that was a heavy rotation from Wings. The time committed for that, and it's still a 1-1, the mid for mid.
And the Ogre staying there in the middle lane, really taking its toll on the Storm Spirit. He's not even close to level 6 at this point. Really like that before they make that rotation. At least they finally get a kill.
Innocence is back on the stacks. And you're already seeing the TP coming over, and Blink, yeah, he doesn't want to go anywhere near that mid lane for now. They have to clean up these stacks inside the Dire jungle in a bit.
But as we say that, DC is already moving into that area, though it will be under the eyes of the observer.
iceice is pinging out. He feels like he's got an opening here. While Resolution was farming the camp, the Dire Observer Ward still sees quite nicely. The Radiant Obs and Sentry is too far away. Now iceice moves over. Oh, what's the hook? Actually threads the DC needle, and they have to turn with a rod. iceice stunned up. He'll deny himself with a rod. Saksa, he's away. Back behind the T1 tower. Still a couple of stick charges up his sleeve. Resolution also with Time Walk and stick charges. They'll back up as far as they can. But Resolution, the ball slap under the tree line. And the glaive is not enough damage. But it is! The last word was had by Wings. Misery's coming up for some deep revenge. He needs to find him in the tree lines. Shadow starts his TP out. Innocence does not have the man to do so. Misery gonna loop around the tree line, try and lock him in, but then the tether away the creep wave, avoiding the Luminate as well. He gets out at the same time. Weeha went for a crazy dive behind the tier 1 tower and lost his life.
Wow, with that outplay from the Wisps too, they're having a lot of trouble keeping track of him. He doesn't even have boots at the moment, opting for the raindrops instead. Might have even lived from that short charge Illuminate. And now TP on the top, bottle refill on IO, and they're doing well in this early game now. Yeah. Off the back of the rotation of the Wisp, they really need some more hooks from iceice.
You know, it's that same thing we saw from the Wings part just previously. Never really felt his big influence inside the game. He normally was just that fear which allowed his other supports to have space, but this silencer can't really make the most out of that.
Yeah, DC have to make sure not to overstay their welcome in the safe lane. in Wings' safe lane, that is. A lot of times you'll see the 3 heroes just stay there way too long. They get cleaned up by heavy rotation from the mid laner. But Storm did not have a good time. He's also not gotten any kill runes. Last 2 runes with haste, double damage going to the way of the Skywrath Mage. 8-minute rune will be a bounty for Storm.
So again, no joy on the rune. There is a lot of joy to be had in that bottom lane. DC, Moo is just having a great time as he comes in close over on the slider. 2 points up in Timber Chain is available, but he's not going to play that game as on top lane. Oh, Keeper of the Light gets caught out. Finally one of those hooks.
Yeah, it's about to be that time where they need to maybe ditch this or reinforce it with the help of the Moo Timber. Sora forced to help out the other lanes, and that's why you see the Timber out of control on CS.
Well, they had to find a way to completely shut him down at some point, or else Moo's going to do what Moo's done before. Huge win rate on that Timbersaw.
Man, the 8-minute rune was there for quite a long time. Haste for Sky.
Nice thing for Weeha if he wants to get aggressive. Also, nice way to chase a Storm Spirit who's only got maybe 1/4 of his mana, the seal. Weeha gonna miss the Mystic Flare. So some decent damage to the Storm Spirit. Wow, okay, doing more than decent. It was amplified by the seal to start with. But Blink, this is just not his game.
Yeah, they got rid of a lot of the raindrop charges. Moo going in deep on bottom.
Yeah, face so low, but confident enough to stand next to his own tier 2 tower. Doesn't want to back up completely. Wants to make Moo a little bit more fearful of being between a tier 1 and a tier 2 tower before even the 10-minute marker. Because he's doing this with a creep skip, it guarantees the early tier 1. And the help comes in from Qontroll.
As we say that, Blink and Io.
Well, can they jump this? Moo still with the amplification. Faith comes in. There's your first jump. The crush to start with. No vortex with the damage output. It may be enough with the back, but then the Timbersaw chains up the shard trap damage. It's always going to kill Innocence if he's not careful. But they find the kill before he pulls it in.
Wow, Saksa just ditched him right there. I think with an Illuminate, they might have been able to get a triple kill right there. But Moo, dead to rights, tried to do what he could.
He almost managed to get himself, as he said, a triple kill. He just needed more time. But it wasn't available. Resolution, walking right next to Shadow in the tree lines. He doesn't know. He came so close you could probably smell him. Unless he goes around the corner of that tree, he still doesn't know. Shadow, cloak and dagger stuff, but he'll need help if they want to defend this. Innocence still doesn't have level 6, so there's no help coming there, and there it is. They just back out. Get TP of the Shadow back to base.
All that time wasted actually could have been done to the damage done to the tower. It's at 300 HP and need a little bit of help from Faceless Void. Also Shadow going for a little bit of a different build. Arcane Curse would have been potentially pretty good versus spammy heroes like the Faceless Void, the Sky, and the Timber, but opting to prioritize the last word so that Timber can't run away, Faceless Void can't cast Chrono, and just overall a little bit better synergy for their team fight.
Little extra control also arriving for Wings as Dismember arrives, the first tome being used on the Pudge. Really trying to make up for those levels he couldn't achieve on the top because he just had to hug the Silencer so close.
But DC have had so much control over Wings' jungle with another deep Observer Ward as they finish the T1 on top. Wisp just closing in on level 6, should get it after this camp. And starting to eye where those relocate ganks will happen as iceice perches in the bottom lane.
Yeah, he's waiting to prepare on Moo. With the amplification, he knows he's going to get the hit, the chain up. iceice still waits his time out.
They're hooking up the storm.
That's a creep in the way. Oh no.
And not enough mana for a hook Dismember, especially with a level 3 chain on the Timbersaw. But Y and Blink are ready, waiting for the opportunity. It could be on top if he uses a defensive Global Silence.
That's where DC is headed at the moment with a 3-man smoke maneuver. As we'll have ourselves just a quick pause. Nice start as far as DC you feel like it was a good start for them. Overall, it's been moving between 1,500 net worth going the way of DC. But Wings, they've repaired it for this. The Chronosphere out with a Mystic Flare. It's the old school combo and the Illuminate. The damage, it's not enough for the one charges. He will still die. We hired an extra Arcane Orb up his sleeve.
Wow, Skywrath's actually so fast with the Bloodlust. He's moving like 412 move speed. Bloodlust just ran off him, but he's very farm close again on the Atos, and one of your main concerns about running a core Sky is that he's going to fall off similar to perhaps the core Jakiro that they ran earlier. But when he's this far ahead of the Storm Spirit, looks to be a pretty good game for him, but it's a slippery slope.
It is, but Wings still finding space while that gank was going on, so Silencer not the happiest time of all. Still gonna be happy that's his first death in 12.5 minutes.
Do you believe in the taunt curse, Toby?
I believe in the cockiness curse, yeah. Yeah, don't go too deep. I think Weeha already got that a little bit when he died behind the tier 1 tower.
Needs to do the dirty bird a few more times.
Top lane, Moo's gonna come over. Resolution waiting in the trees. No Chronosphere available for DC.
They're just baiting it out at the moment, just waiting.
I'm surprised Faith comes to... Okay, that's the reason, yeah. He's already got that early Blink Dagger. With Tranquils, it's a little bit raw. No early stat items over on Faith Beyond.
That Observer Ward will not catch wind of the Slardar nor the IO, so they are still blind. Although, you know, Silencer farming out alone with threat of relocate.
The ping actually came out. They think there's something going up here. DC's rotating supports, but it might be too late. Misery taking heavy damage. The multicast not enough to save his life. And now Resolution has to time walk back to the tier 1 tower.
Wings did such a good job of evading vision of that Observer Ward, but without Chronosphere up, not sure if DC can fight here.
They're forcing it. Leap in, time dilation. Global Silence comes out from Shadow, making this very difficult. Faith Beyond, blink forward. Stuns over on Resolution with a Timber Chain over. They need more damage. Resolution's going to go down. The Illuminate barely nicks the back of Faith, but with the Timber Chain forward, moves bringing the damage, but it's still not enough. Faith Beyond into the tree line. Blink, he's got it. He's into the trees, starting a CP. The Hawk away, keeping it going all the way home. It's Fountain Hawking TI6 style. You're still brought back with a relocate, so Innocence will have to give up his life here.
He lost a whopping 4 gold from that, already purchasing his earn right before, and I don't know how Wings managed to make it out of that one, but that was a very fast Global Silence from Shadow right as Moo went in. As we can see, like, DC can't do anything during the Global Silence, not as of yet. Faces Void going for an early Vlads, it seems. Diffusal Blade is normally the build, maybe a little bit later on for the Faces Void if you want to counter the Global Silence. Timbersaw still has a long way to go until his Bloodstone, then maybe a Yules or a Lotus to deal with it.
We see now how DC love to push. Second Global Silence goes down. They know they've got the advantage. They've got Chronosphere up as well, so they attack into the tier 1 tower. They can keep going unless Wings wants to try and fight them.
Not there.
Maybe at the tier 2. DC, are they going to keep going?
They need to take it easy during the Chronosphere, and Pudge has to be really quick with his hook during the Chronosphere because Skywrath ult does insane amounts of damage, especially with how high level Wii is. He doesn't have level 2 ulti quite yet, but the response time has to come within half a second.
Nice deep ward down by Saksa. Looking deeper in, Shadow. Well, easy TP out of the top lane too. Moo can't cancel that, no stuns. No Yule Scepters for this Timbersaw.
They use a dire scan near the top rune, so they know that everyone's down here.
Well, that's one way to... No, he even missed a denial. He's one way to deny a catapult.
But look at where they're setting up. Global Silence coming off cooldown in just 10 seconds time. We in very deep.
Faith doesn't have vision of him. Now he will. Blink, Crush, Storm Spirit jumps forward. Skywrath Mage. No real defensive abilities. Resolution. He time walked in like he was about to go for the Chronosphere and then pulled out.
I have to applaud Wings again for taking all these fights outside of DC's vision. They do have a ward in this mid lane,
coming over. That Observer will sees Faith. iceice still on the back lines, ready to be that saving grace. Blink, Crush, Misery now hooked down. Does he have enough damage? Resolution, no mana for a Chrono, and the Global Silence. They can't respond now, DC. Literally, mute button's been pressed. Wings, they will be forced out. As Moo is on the front lines, they go back up to the hillside of the Radiant Jungle. But they're still surrounding that mid-tier 1 town, but not for long.
Such a tricky place for DC. They want to fight because they're right outside their T1 and they have vision, but their Skywrath has been down, and as soon as we respawn, Wings are out of there.
Notice too where Wee's TPing. He goes straight down to bot lane. He'll walk up and find the Storm Spirit with that Rod of Atos. The hook out again. The Rod of Atos slow. It cannot hold people inside that Mystic Flare, and it's still a level 1. It wasn't enough damage to get through Blink anyway.
They really want to take a fight with the Chronosphere up here. No Global Silence on Wings, and they know they have to get out of here right now.
Yeah, no global, no relocate, so you don't even have that saving grace when one of your cords gets caught in the Chrono.
But the battle of the cooldown of the ultimates are going to Wings at the moment. Global Silence, 130 seconds. Chronosphere, same, 130, but they haven't been able to use it. And if this keeps going like this, Wings are just going to continue to get a lot of farm from the Storm Spirit, who had a terrible early game. He was maybe 1,500 below the Skywrath, but now they're caught up. DC with an aggressive maneuver, smoking down near Roche.
You wonder if it's one of those lanes again. Like, Jakira's really great up against Medusa, but what happens after you hit the 15-minute mark? Like, how does this Skywrath Mage keep doing work?
They want kills. Like, ideally, it's just with the Ogre, so you don't have to blow the Chronosphere, but Shadow, he, I believe, was scouted out as he headed into there, but if the smoke pops, they're going to think it's because of the tower, so they can't head over there. Radiant has used Scan, thinking that Shadow's in the trees. It will light up green, and we will have to find another person to kill.
Yeah, they missed their target. They can go down a bottom lane, but there's 3 Dire Observer wards all through the Radiant jungle. So vision superiority, at least in the jungle itself, will go to Wings, but around the tower fight, it will be in favor of DC.
DC have also missed their D wards on the bottom lane, and Wings still have 3 up there. Smoke, again, right as Global Silence is about to come off cooldown.
They want to defend bottom. The recall already came in. Weeha was brought in. Blink in the neighborhood. There's your first crush. Is there help with the blinding light? Yeah, there is. Double TPs, but Global Silence again causing problems. Misery will arrive at Faith. He's in way too deep. The double crush, but Seal, Mystic Flare will find the kill. iceice, he's trapped. The creep is locking him in the tree lines. He can't escape. The Illuminate will help get the kill. But it goes to Weeha. As Wings force the issue a little too hard under the tier 1.
They expected a relocate coming right there. Faith went in. You got a very important hero in a Skywrath Mage, but Storm seems a little bit too far behind, even with level 2 Electric Vortex. It would have been a kill, and don't know where the Wisp and his partner was, but they don't even have to blow Chronosphere for that. Early Vlads, they can threaten Roche, but they don't really have good heroes to take it out at all. That's a very overwhelming concern for DC.
At least when that Diffusal Blade is up, that's going to be less concerns for DC. But for now, Wings, Bloodstones are up for both sides. Blink gets his fresh one, now with 12 Bloodstone charges, and the same for Moo. So these guys are very happy with their mana regen pulls.
And the itemization from Wings looks like a Force Stab is coming out from Slardar, counter the Skywrath ulti, then some magic resistance coming out from iceice with a casual cloak. Shadow, early damage item in the drums, and working towards that Atos. Atos is, yeah, pretty decent if they want to focus people down that are having trouble locking people down because the Pud does not have a blink dagger. And Slaughter has to start off the fight.
You say, yeah, iceice. Well, here they go. He walks straight up the hillside, Mana Leak, and he goes for the Dismember. No lucky rot death there. So DC get a free kill.
3 unanswered kills by them, but Misery looks to be a little bit vulnerable in the mid lane and instantly reinforced by Wii.
Well, that's a nice rune for Shadow to have if he can force a fight while it's still up. That Arcane rune lowering the cooldown, or maybe no, they're actually going to give it over to Blink.
They have that Observer ward. DC know exactly what's going on.
Well, that's why they've already moved to the Dire side of the river.
They need to set up wards over here. And this T2 tower is going to go down unless Wings come over there, but no one's in sight.
Well, they still have a relocate, but Io is probably the closest of any of these heroes. Like, he can drag Shadow up. And that's all. Chronosphere now on Faith. TPs begin. Global Silence once again making this difficult for DC to get the instant kill. But now the Timber Chain forward. Faith just explodes. They're going to have more damage once Weeha can get that ulti down, but he can't. Now he can, but it's all being chained up. Wings together, holding hands. And they may die together. Just as they fought. Nu is low underneath the tower. Chains away. Wings, they buy back on Faith. They need a good crush out from him. Blink is off cooldown. He'll find Saksa over in the tree line, so he'll take a fall too. I will grab that with a denial of the tower. Still a costly fight for Wings.
If they lose a tower, they have to buy it back on the Slardar, and it's going to be really slow on his progression for that Force Staff.
Faith, Blink, Crush. It's Resolution though. Time walks off cooldown in a second. So he'll time dilate and then run away. It's like Faith trying to force an issue, or at least make it so DC doesn't feel comfortable to move across the map.
They had a lot of trouble bursting down Wii, and it's going to be even more troublesome as he picks up his Yule Scepter. He managed to get his Mystic Flare off very early on into the fight. And he doesn't have any armor. He should be taken down a little bit more easily, but they don't really have too much physical damage to complement the Amplify.
What is any kind of armor item that Skywrath Mage will want to pick up?
We see Veil pretty commonly on Skywrath, probably the best of the worlds, but Yule's is likely much better to help him out against the Storm Spirit in an instant cast so he can get out of a punch hook potentially.
Oh, the smoke. Wings had an Obs ward up. iceice will break it. Do they want to go on him? Roshan's not dead yet. They put the Timbersaw on the front lines. Digital Chaos trying to find that quick opening. Shadow's nearby. There is no Global Silence in trouble. Blink is down. He'll commit suicide with a Bloodstone. He'll be back in 10 seconds, but 10 seconds may be too long. Shadow will go down. Innocence attempted to relocate will fail. He didn't get him out in time.
They
That
can hook
Iron
out the
comes
Wisp,
back.
though. They can hook out the Wisp. That's the only play that I think they have to perhaps save them.
iceice is standing too far away. Now he's going to come down close enough to it. Innocence, the stun's there. iceice holds the hook. Instead, they may try and contest Roshan. Storm Spirit, very easy to jump in, but the Observer Wards up for both Dire and Radiant on the cliff sides of Roshan. Here comes your first hook. They drag Moo up. They know the Graves in a three-man corridor. Resolution. He hit the money low right here. Chain forward. Wings, where's your extra damage? Resolution will keep chasing down after him. The Yules are up, keeping Faith out of it. And Moo still wants iceice. They're going to go on Faith first. He'll drop down, and they get them all. Wings, they had 5 feet. Times it by 2, 10 in the grave.
What a godly Chronosphere from Resolution. Wings thought they had that advantage with a high gun Observer Ward, but DC, they sneak an Observer Ward from inside the pit. Wings think they're safe over there. They think they're under the cover of fog, but I also really like the positioning of the melee heroes from DC. Resolution was standing to the north side of the Wisp in case Pudge threw out the hook. He could just turn around with the Chronosphere, and Moo's positioning over there too, getting hooked instead so that Faceless Void can do what he does best.
Well, they give the Immortal over to Weeha. As they can look to the tier 2 tower. A lot going their way. Global Silence is back up for Wings, so they do have that strength in the team fight. 50 seconds for Resolution before Chrono is up. You have to remember still, DC want to fight around the timings of these big ultimates. And Wings, they want to make sure if that Chrono is down, they have Global Silence up there looking for kills too. Something which we haven't seen from iceice. This Pudge has been more like a get out jail free card. If you can stay in the right position.
They've been 5-manning a lot. They haven't really been in a vulnerable position for Wings to gank them with a relocate.
Hook. iceice, he's found Moo. Relocates on the way. They got extra help, and Moo's going to pop. Could not deny himself. Wee's actually in the neighborhood. Might try and find a revenge kill. It was a relocate in, so he knows there's only going to be one hero left. And it looks like iceice, the man without a single point up in Flesh Heap, will die to the magical damage of Wee. Inside the Dire jungle, while on bottom lane, Global Silence helps kill a Void. So tit for tat between DC and Wings.
DC had to be careful not to give out too many kills. They actually gave the Aegis of the Immortal to the Skywrath instead. Maybe thinking that Faceless Void not terribly useful after his Chronosphere is done. Wee being the biggest damage dealer on their side.
They might still be really concerned that Wee could just pop way too easily. Don't have him there, so hey, give him a second life.
I think you're more worried about the Faceless Void dying first in the fights. Timbersaw has enough Bloodstone charges to be almost instantly recalled into the fight. Faceless Void, if you don't have Chronosphere, you're actually pretty likely to lose the fight.
No to his item build on the Faceless Void. He went for Manta style as opposed to finishing up a Diffusal Blade.
That's fine. Both of them get out of Global Silence one or the other. It's also really good to counter the Pudge Hook. As soon as you get Pudge Hook, you Manta style, and the cast time on the Time Walk is not instantaneous. So it's an easy way to get out without having to rely on your team to back you up.
Moo's also bringing some damage of his own, going for that Yule Scepter we're talking about.
And Storm also picks up a Yule Scepter, more likely than not to counter the Skywrath, Silence, and Ultimate.
Give him some way to jump in and out, some time to regenerate, some time to think about the fight. For now, DC, they're the ones holding advantage. They're coming in towards the mid lane, towards the tier 2 tower. Chrono is up. Basically, everything apart from Global Silence is up. That's 42 seconds still on cooldown for Wings. Faithfully has some momentum on the bottom lane. Might make DC think twice about going to the tier 3s. And that's exactly what happens. They're going to back out. New items from DC. We going for a very early game style build. Atos, Yules, and now a Blink Dagger on the Skywrath.
You can get on the back line and kill that Storm Spirit, or sorry, kill the Silencer. He doesn't have a way out of the Silence right now. He is the easiest target to kill. If he gets the Ancient Seal on him before he can pop his Global, I think Wings lose that fight tragically.
So you need Silencer to have some kind of way out.
Or just good positioning too. We initially thought it was going to be a support Silencer, but core Silencer, very vulnerable without BKB. Sometimes we see Shadowblade come out from him, but might be a Force Staff at the moment.
And everyone's getting Yule Scepters. Faith just finished his.
DC.
Are they going to find anything with this, with a 4-man maneuver? And they're smoking at the same time as Global Silence is off cooldown.
And looks like they are going to show the Timbersaw in the mid lane, but they can easily recall him to the fight. Dire's use scan, they know exactly where they are.
So smart from Wings. They see it coming, but how do they react?
They need an observer ward.
They actually can't TP out Blink. Blink is walking so far over that he can just jump, and yep, there she goes into the tree line. Number one, but the seal is up. You'll Scepter will dispel it. Global silence, but Resolution drops the Chronosphere. They wait for him to hit the ground and then burn him in the light.
They knew that smoke was coming, but he didn't jump that far. I'm surprised he actually went to the right side instead of left where the rest of his team was.
It was just the TP being on cooldown. Maybe he felt like he had to jump all the way to the tier 3 tower, but he had to close the distance to do that.
Perhaps, but if you just go to the left side, you have the observer ward there. You can hide, pop the smoke. If you
Innocence. Oh, Weeha! Blink in, you'll step to the crutch! Hits on 4! They hook out Resolution! Almost back to tier 4 towers! He'll time walk down after force off from Misery trying to save him. The Aegis Immortal will trigger, so Weeha back up again, and they're gonna burn down the Slaughter. The assault into the base. iceice can't keep the fight going for Wings. Unable to latch that hook. But it's still Shadow finding a double kill, repelling DC.
They wanted to go in that small window where the Storm Spirit was still dead. But haste breeds mistakes.
And it does. The tier 3 town takes minimal damage. With every one of these kills as well, just a little bit more of that intelligence of DC gets stolen by Wings. Up to 16 now on Shadow, slowly buffing him up.
I'm not sure if Wings can take large-scale engagements at this point. Still need more items up.
They're pinging out for top. I think iceice wants to go for a hook. They have a relocate available from Innocence.
Trying to make use of the last couple of minutes of this observer ward, but DC are grouped up far too much. And things are going to get a lot easier once next daytime hits.
Oh, the observer ward. They see Blink. He's walking straight into Misery. The stuns, the Mystic Flares. You'll step her up. Is there a relocate save? Yeah. No! Innocence! It's like he grabbed onto him, but not strong enough to pull him through the void. And now he's coming back in 3, 2, 1, and goodbye, Innocence. He'll spend his money before death, both mech recipe as well as buckler recipe.
The Storm Spirit has died 7 times this game. Wee is just crushing him at every turn.
May actually be on 1 Bloodstone charge soon. He's down to 3 Bloodstone charges on this Storm Spirit. Oof. And now he's building an item which you normally get when you have momentum. He's going back into the Orchid after Bloodstone and Yules. While top in the jungle, iceice and Mystic Flare doing some work. He'll survive. The Glimmer Cape keeps him invis. And Faith looking for the crush, but he missed it. Now Resolution. They already found one. Weeha is caught inside the Chronosphere, trying to kill the Slaughter. Shadow will move over. Can they find the kill? Yules up from Slaughter. He'll go again up and towards the air. Shadow still wants his kill over on Weeha. Faith will drop in the meantime, but the Rod of Atos, the curse, it should be enough with the Yule Scepter. Dispel. Shadow's running out of mana. The blink out. Weeha keeps the kite going. Resolution with the time lock. A double kill for Moo. And Wings kited to the end of the earth in a stiff breeze.
Another phenomenal play coming out from Wee, and such an unlucky miss uphill as Silencer was going for the finishing blow with the amp damage still on Sky, but he is styling on them.
Now they look for more. Blink having a ball lighting himself away from Moo. DC are starting to roll with the punches. It's going to be even more difficult to try and repel them as these early game items with this really strong mid-game draft hitting its mark from DC. We've got Diffusal plus Manta up. They've got everything to deal with Global Silence. Even almost a Lotus Orb up for the Timber.
Yeah, their items are coming out way too quickly. They really need maybe an Aegis on the Storm Spirit to get back in this game, but DC is showing no signs of halting. Skywrath almost has as many kills as Wings' entire team.
That is definitely an issue. If you had Wing in your fantasy team, you're going to be smiling all the way through.
He's still suffering a little bit in terms of net worth over the Storm Spirit, but Storm Spirit could have been a way bigger threat had we not been playing this well.
But it's something too which Wings was probably expecting. Like we've seen it, like the panel was guessing. Black said maybe it wasn't the greatest time to pick up an Ogre, but DC have done it time and time again. They get that early balance their way when that Ogre rotates into mid, plus having an early game help, like the Skywrath Mage Orbs.
Yeah, it might be time to bring back the 2-1-2 mid lanes.
Maybe top lane, quick jump, Yule Scepter up, that's the Slaughter. Still got 6, oh, okay, those charges don't mean anything. He didn't even have a chance to trigger it off as Moo finds the kill.
No chance.
Yeah, no chance, definitely chant though. It's not a boo you're hearing if you're listening back at home. That is all for the Moo. As now the hook. iceice, unable to hit that reactive armor.
Misery still needs to be recalled if they want to make this a 5-man push.
Where's your fight?
Oh, he has Scepter. This is going to be insanely difficult for Wings to hold.
Especially during the daytime. Extra heal, Blink gonna jump himself in. The time block holds him in. The global silence. They'll actually pull Blink away with the hook, but now DC, no global silence to fight up against. They know they got the advantage, they got Chrono, they got everything their heart desires. All they want is the racks. DC, everyone was pinging Wings to try and win this grand final. The favorites to do it, but DC, they will be the first to claim the full set of racks on top. Fortification from Wings is slowing this fight down. iceice still looking for a good angle. Blink jumps in. They don't have the opening just yet to smoke the hog. It actually drags the Slaughter out of his crush. They still know they got more than multicast. Blink forced up down outside the Chrono. Silence the caught inside of Innocence. He can't pull him out in time. They'll have to hold in. They have to back up under the tier 4 towers. DC, they're rampaging on from them for objective-based gaming. But GG, Wings will call it. DC take game number 1 of the TI6 Grand Final against Wings. The boys that went all the way through the winner's bracket.
Jeez. We is insane on that Skywrath Mage.